Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar, starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government has issued a statement assuring citizens that it remains fully mobilized and coordinated across all 14 municipal corporations in response to ongoing adverse weather conditions affecting Trinidad. You're in Grandy by chance? The back area by us there. I don't know if up further in Grandy you all are dredging the rivers and whatsoever, but the back area by us here in Lindsay Street and Guild Street, the river is like a forest. The river itself is like a forest. Anyhow, I'm telling you all disappointed me so much in so many different ways. This government I'm talking about. According to the release, persistent rainfall over the past several days has affected communities nationwide, leading to elevated river levels, localized flooding, and disruptions in some areas. While there were no reports of widespread flooding, as of Monday morning, disaster management units are maintaining heightened surveillance in vulnerable locations as conditions continue to change. Yes, but telling you all said you were going to be proactive, and I believe you all would to an extent, but in other parts of the country, I haven't really seen anything to talk about here in Sangre Grande. I'm telling you, 6 months later, I went to my MP for Kabuto Manzanilla and told a representative that we have a huge pothole at the corner of Lindsay and Guild Street, and up to now, the swimming pool is still there. The swimming pool is still there. Told them about how it doesn't have all the street lights. We don't have any street lights in our area. They need to change the bulbs. It's just to change the bulbs, people. Well, I don't know if it's to change the bulbs or to fix the electrical things or whatever. I don't know. But anyhow, it has the street lights on it, just not on. Just to fix that over 6 months now. And they called me about a week after I talked to them. I went and saw them at the MP office. And they called me, so I could have sworn, well, within a couple of weeks, I would have seen the issue addressed. Not up to that, 6 months later. When UNC wins, everybody wins. It seems as though everybody only winning in South now. The ministry noted moderate rainfall in several municipalities, along with localized disruptions along Kangawood Road leading to the Forest Park landfill. Forest Park Puncheon. Anyhow, river levels in the Penal Debe region were reported to be running between 80 and 90%. Wow! Yeah, boy. Almost time to flood. Disaster management units across all municipal corporations remain on standby. But I think by now that, well, anyhow, they might still be on standby now, but there's no heavy rainfall anymore. But still, you need to be on guard, ready for anything. So the disaster management units across all municipal corporations remain on standby with personnel, equipment, and response teams ready to deploy as needed. The ministry says continuous monitoring of rivers, watercourses, and drainage infrastructure is being carried out around the clock. By not seeing it happening in Grandy, but once again, other Grandy people, UNC supporters will tell me probably, but look how high up it's going on. All right, okay then. Take out some pictures and send for me then. Okay, let me see it for myself. Around the clock in flood-prone communities to catch developing issues early. The ministry pledged that recovery work, including assessments, debris clearance, and drainage interventions will begin immediately in any affected communities once conditions allow. It also encouraged the public to rely only on official government channels for updates and to avoid spreading unverified information as the situation develops. The statement closed with a call for unity, saying that through preparedness, cooperation, and community spirit, Trinidad and Tobago will continue to navigate the period safely. Yeah, we'll navigate here in Sangre Grande, please. I don't know about other places in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know about Sangre Grande. I don't see you all navigating at all. Okay then? All right then.
Weather report for Tuesday, July 14, 2026, Trinidad and Tobago. The weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday, July 14, 2026 features partly cloudy skies, changing to scattered thunderstorms by midday with a high temperature of 28 degrees Celsius and a low of 24 degrees Celsius. The morning will begin relatively bright with sunny intervals, but instability will pick up by late morning and early afternoon, bringing a 35% to 40% chance of showers and thundery downpours. Winds will blow steadily from the east at around 9 miles per hour or 15 kilometers per hour, though they may become gusty near any heavy showers. High humidity levels of around 82% will make peak daytime temperatures feel closer to 31 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Celsius. The maximum UV index will reach 8, which is very high, and sun protection is strongly recommended if you are spending time outdoors during midday hours. Seas are forecast to remain moderate with open water waves up to 2.0 or 2.5 meters, which will become choppy near sudden downpours. Mild to moderate Saharan dust may still linger in the atmosphere, and individuals with respiratory sensitivities should keep track of localized air quality shifts.
Regional news now. Another batch of 23 women from Region 6 in Guyana have successfully completed the Climate Smart Agriculture training through the Women's Innovation and Investment Network, an initiative conceived by Minister Honorable Dr. Vindhya Prasad under the Irfan Ali administration, of course, delivered in partnership with the National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute. The training combined classroom sessions and at the Region 6 RDC boardroom with hands-on learning. Wonderful, empowering the women of Guyana. At the Fort Wellington Model Farm in Region 5, equipping participants with practical skills to adopt sustainable farming practices, boost productivity, and build climate resilience. Yes, people, I'm not like you far-left woke individuals who wants to ban cows and cars, but we really need to do a little more to protect our climate, our environment from pollution and so forth. With one training at a time, WIN continues to create opportunities and empower women across Guyana to grow, lead, and succeed in the area of agriculture. International news now. U.S. Navy to begin blockade enforcement on all Iranian ports and coastal areas on Tuesday evening. Back and forth, back and forth. I said the games and more games with Trump. Now, I approve of it, but finish the job. And that's the thing with Trump. He never finishes a job. And I'm just waiting to see if this time he will. If so, I will say, okay then. Well done. Okay then? But I have no confidence in that man whatsoever. The man is fickle-minded and continues to contradict himself. On Sunday, Iran continued its attacks against the U.S. and Gulf countries as the peace agreement between the two sides continues to break down. There's no peace agreement. Mainstream media, stop it. There's no peace agreement. It was a lie from the very beginning. The Americans supposed to know better than that. You cannot make peace agreements with terrorists who believe that they have to destroy the infidels of the world to usher in their messiah. Iran claimed responsibility for an attack on a U.S. base in Kuwait, conducting a drone attack against U.S.-made HIMARS surface-to-surface missile launchers. Kuwait's armed forces said 3 border posts in the country's north were struck in what they described as a criminal aggressive attack, causing material damage. Iran also reports that Revolutionary Guards attacked American warships and buildings that had committed a violation, a so-called violation, 20 kilometers from the Strait of Hormuz. Additionally, despite earlier declarations from Iran that Hormuz is closed, CENTCOM says traffic is flowing and the Strait of Hormuz is open to all vessels seeking to lawfully transit the international waterway. But the thing about it is, here comes Trump sometime last night or yesterday saying, yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is open and we will be there to guard it. We'll be the guardians of the Strait of Hormuz. But you want to do just like the Iranians and charge people a fee. Nobody asked you. Nobody said we will pay you. No. But you want to be a bully just like the Iranians and say, because we are there to prevent the Iranians from attacking these vessels, we want to charge people 20%. You are behaving just like the Ayatollahs in some ways, Trump. Something is wrong with you. Because at the end of the day, it's either you're doing this for the good of humanity, it's either you're doing this to be able to protect your own American people as well, or you're doing this for monetary gain. And it seems as though all you really care about over and over again, you prove to people that all you care about is really money, 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 money. Man, hey, that's all you seem to care about, Trump. That needs to stop. Gen Z, Generation Z is rewriting the 9 to 5 and they're not even trying to hide it. A new survey finds 80%, not 80% of Gen Z workers admit they fake being busy after finishing their real work, the highest of any generation. You think about it is, if you finish your work, what's your big problem though? It shows that probably they are more efficient at completing their tasks. But of course, if you complete a task and you know that's what you were supposed to do for the day, then of course, the boss man will want to see if you're still doing work now, because otherwise he'll say, well, I'll find more work for you to do. And I guess the older generations want them to do that. I don't know. I'm kind of way in between when it pertains to this, because they completed their task. The whole thing about it is, as long as they did it efficiently and effectively, then what problem you really have with them? Many say they jiggle their mouse, leave decoy tabs open, or delay replying to messages just to look productive. Yeah, because nobody wants to get double work for the day. And you're not really getting paid for that double work, you know. You're getting paid for the work that you have completed. You're not alone either. 2/3 of workers admit they've pretended to stay busy after wrapping up. You hear the wording? Wrapping up their task. It's not as though they didn't complete their work, you know. They wrap up the task, and therefore they continue to pretend as though they're working, costing nearly 7 full work weeks a year, keeping up appearances, according to technology consulting company Software Finder. Yeah, but the thing about it is, once again, you're not paying them for extra work. You pay them to do a duty. They accomplished it. They completed it before time. That shows that they are more effective in a way, more efficient in a way. Then what's your problem? I don't know, boy. I don't know. Comment and tell me what you think. But researchers say the real issue may not be employees avoiding work. It may be workplaces that still reward looking busy more than getting the job done. But that's what got me vexed at the ending. More than getting the job. They did get the job done. Who wrote this? Because more than getting the job done, they did. They finished their job probably 2 hours before time to go home. And they decided, you know what, before boss man come and tell me to go and do this next project, let me just pretend that I'm still doing work. You understand what I'm showing you? Why must they go and start a new task that they're not expected to start on that particular day? They did get the job done. You all want them to do more work than they're being actually paid for. You're expecting, so what do you want? So in other words, it's just like when you know how people in work, right? You're working in a company, and one person is being much more efficient, doing their job much better than everybody else. And you know, everybody starts to call on that one person. The boss man and all don't call on anybody else to go and do any extra work, you know. And what sometimes people do, you know what? They say, you know what? People, they're taking advantage of me now. So you know what? I will start to just do exactly what I'm supposed to do. Hold back my own capabilities. Withhold my own capabilities so that they won't have to be calling me every minute to go and do things because they ain't calling nobody else. You're exploiting your workers, in other words, but something with America, boy. Something with America, boy. I just don't get it. Because I'm telling you, this issue, honestly speaking, I talk about Gen Z, and there's so much to talk about with Gen Z that really isn't that positive. But I mean, when you're talking about this, even our older generations didn't like to be exploited either. They finished their job, they finished their task. So what is really your problem? You want them to do double tasks now for the same amount, the same salary? Come now, man.
Bible quote of the day. Psalm 8:1-5. The majesty of God and the dignity of man. O Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. You have set your glory in the heavens. Through the praise of children and infants you have established a stronghold against your enemies, to silence the foe and the avenger. When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them, human beings that you care for them? You have made them a little lower than the angels and crowned them with glory and honor.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news, headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.